Hi everyone, how are you doing? This is Christine again. This is just a short video on how I got the job in childcare. Especially because when I tell people just started working in childcare, but I don't have any certificate, diploma, and I just started my bachelor degree. I don't have any experience. You're pretty surprised. So yeah, I decided to do a short video on how I got the job. So when I arrived in Melbourne, I was actually surprised when I couldn't find a job in hospitality, even though I had quite a lot of experience, like 5 years. I can speak four languages, so I would get a job pretty quickly. Um, but in Melbourne, there's so many people applying, but it's really hard, and you kind of need like certificate. I don't know. You need certificates. You need the RSA. You need so many things. Anyways, it was pretty hard. I even did a couple of sales jobs, wasn't for me, and eventually I found a job in an Italian wine bar. It's nice. But as soon as I decided that I wanted to work in education and I started my bachelor degree, um, I decided to start looking for jobs in childcare centers. I knew it was impossible to find a job in primary school without a bachelor degree, and I thought I could find a job in childcare. So I started applying. I wrote my CV, I wrote my cover letter. I started applying for jobs through different websites like Seek, Indeed, or even directly to some childcare centers' email addresses, like sending my CV. And I quickly realized that looking at the descriptions and like the requirements and everything, that they were asking for a lot of things. At least certificate. They wanted people to have experience already, and you needed first aid certificate, working with children, check and everything. And I didn't have any of it, so I quickly realized that it would be very hard. But I found that there were a few centers who were looking for apprentices and were willing to pay for people to get the certificate while paying them while they get the experience at the center. So I thought, why not? Let's try and look for apprenticeships in centers. And I kind of knew it would be hard because I'm already studying a bachelor degree and doing 2 or 3 units per teaching periods, having all the assignments to do, readings to do. Plus, if I had to study for a certificate, that would be pretty tough. But I was like, I really need to get that experience on my CV for when I finish my bachelor degree, and I want to start somewhere. I want to start working with kids. So, um, so I started applying again for Seek, Indeed, different websites, and or I wouldn't get any reply at all, or they would send me a sorry email saying that they already found someone with more experience, or that they already closed, they already found their apprentices for the next year. So um, yeah, that was pretty much no the whole time. And then I decided, you know what, let's give it another shot. So I started looking on Google Maps for different childcare centers all around, like really close to my house. Because when I was online, I was also looking for places super far, like 1 hour by public transport, or even 1 hour and a half. And I started looking for childcare centers on Google Maps close to my house, or like not too far away. And I started calling them, and I started, yeah, just calling them saying, "Hi, are you looking for apprentices? Because I would love to do one." And so most of them would just tell me no, or oh, we already found um, apprentices for next year, like the beginning of the year, so maybe try again in June. So I would get a lot of no's again, but I was still calling until I found this one center was about 30 minutes walking from my house, perfect. And so I call them and I say, I'm looking for an apprentice. Are you looking for apprenticeship? Are you looking for apprentices? And the girl at the reception was really nice. She said, I think the manager said she was looking for people, but she just left right now, so maybe try again in 1 hour. She should be there. So I called again 1 hour later, and I was super excited. And I got the manager on the phone, and she was like, I told her like I just called 1 hour ago. Are you looking for apprentices? And she told me, yeah, actually we are looking for more people. We're looking for apprentices and stuff. So can you just send me your CV at this email address? And I was so excited. So on that same day, I reviewed my CV. I reviewed my cover letter as well, and when I wrote them, I asked quite a few people to help me with it. My dad, cousin, some friends I have working in education as well. So I just give it a shot and I sent it. And I think the next week or a few days after, she sent me an email saying, "Oh, thank you for sending your email and your CV. Would you like to come one day so we can have a chat?" And I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, "Oh, that's it. I got it." And so I told her yes. And I was still working in the wine bar, so it was a bit tough. Um, but eventually, I went there, and so I talked with her, and I didn't stay there for long. Like we just had a big chat. She asked me why and like what I was doing, my profile. So I explained to her what I've been doing for the past 6 years, 6, 7 years, and that I always loved children. My own experience was working with cubs, like in the scout. Like I was one of the leaders with the scout cubs. And that was my only experience. So, but I really love children. I love studying. She was impressed, but I could learn so many languages and I moved some many times. She asked me a few questions. The only real professional question she asked me was about deadlines. Um, and well, with the few experiences I have, I could tell her like, yeah, definitely. You tell me to do anything, I'll work on it. And so we just chatted for about 20 minutes, I think, not even. And then she showed me around and she introduced me to people. She showed me the different rooms, the different age groups, and she kind of told me that more than like experience, we're just looking for people really passionate about the job. We really want to learn, and we want to make a career out of it. And I told her, well, I really want to work with kids. That's why I just started a 4 years bachelor degree. And she was like, yeah, I can see that, and I can see that you're calling, you're trying. And at the end, she kind of mentioned. Oh, she asked. She told me, "Would you like to come for a trial and just see if that's actually what you want to do, and be with the children for maybe an hour?" And I was so happy that she mentioned that. I was like, "Definitely, would love to come and see." And she was like, "Well, that's more for you to see if you actually like the job." So I left, and then she sent me an email saying, "When can I come?" And at the beginning of the year, uh, I went there for a trial, and I was supposed to stay just for 1 hour, but I ended up staying 2 hours just because I just liked it. She told me maybe you can stay 30 minutes in one room and 30 minutes in another room so you can see different age and everything. And I ended up staying 1 hour in each room. But it was just really nice. I stayed with like first with the 1.5 years old, and it was cute. I had time to play with them, but also to talk a bit with the educators, see what the job was like, what they were doing, and I could ask quite a few things to the educators, have a small chat, and I could also play with the children. The next room I was with 3.5, like 4 years old, I think 4 years old, and that was different experience completely. It was really nice as well. I could play with them, talk a lot with them. I could chat with, I didn't know at the time, but one person who was an educational leader thing, and she was really nice to talk to. Talked a bit about how we start our career in education, and I was playing with the kids. When I left, some of the kids were even like hugging me, so it was so cute. And the manager saw it, and she was like, "Oh, so cute! We're already hugging you. We like you." I was like, "Well, I like them too. I like it." So she asked me, "So how do you think about the job?" And I told her I really love it. I love playing with kids. I know I still have a lot to learn, but I really love it. I want to work with kids. And by the end of the conversation, she said, actually, just because you're already studying, you're already doing your bachelor degree, um, you might be able to start working as a co-educator, um, because you're studying like with the laws and everything in Australia. And she kind of said, let me just double check with the company. I've discovered later that it was part of a very big company, which by the way I sent my CV to and didn't get an answer. But anyway, and she said, let me check with them, and maybe you can start as a co-educator instead of just doing an apprenticeship. It would be better for you, and even for us it would be better. I was like, oh, if I can start working as an educator instead of having to study even more, definitely. So yeah, and when I left, and I was a bit worried because it seemed a bit too pretty to be true, too good to be true. And 1 week passed, 1 week and a half, I think, and suddenly I got the call from Sydney, so from the company, the headquarters in Sydney. And the first thing the woman told me on the phone was, is it Christine Judd? You got offered a job. You got offered a job at the childcare centre in Preston. And I want to talk to you about the contract and ask you a few more questions. And I was just blown away by the first question, like the first statement. And I was literally paying my grocery shopping when she called, and I couldn't believe it. I was just so excited. My partner was there, and I was just so excited. And then she, on the phone, we talked for maybe 10 minutes, and she talked about, she asked me if it was okay with me, and like she asked me a few questions, and she explained to me about the contract and like the wage and like the hours I would be working and stuff. And she also asked me when I could start. So I told her beginning of February I could start. And she was like, okay, okay, perfect. And she kind of told me like, oh, we're gonna send you an email with all the details in the contract so you can read everything, sign. Congratulations, welcome. And we end up the phone call. And I was so excited. And straight after she called me back and she was like, oh, by the way, I'm so sorry, I just made a mistake, I forgot, but the manager actually said that she would like you to start the second, like the third week of February. And I was like, at this point, I'm like, as long as I can start, yes, no problem at all. I was like, okay, no problem. And I was kind of thinking it gives me time to finish my first teaching period and work on my last assignment and stuff. But anyways, that's how I got the job. And eventually I got an email from the manager saying, actually, can you start earlier? And I started on like the 30th of January. But anyways, that's how I got the job. It's just, you know, you have to believe it and you have to give you the chance. And like I never thought that I wouldn't like get it. I always thought it was going to be hard and that, you know, there's so many people applying, I don't have experience. But, you know, you need to try, you need to try, you need to believe in yourself. And I knew and I am passionate about it. And I'm proactive as well. I just call, I just went, I just go. When I go to the interview, I make sure to look professional, but smiley and friendly. And when I go to the interview, when I went to the interview, in my head it was more like I'm already part of the team. There's no reason not like why you wouldn't like employ me, even if it just is an apprentice. And if not, I'm gonna try again for another place, and that's it. So I keep trying, and here I am now. It's been 2 months and a half since I work in a childcare center, and I'm learning so much. And yeah, that's my very, very first experience, and I still don't have any certificate at all. And I've just done 2 units at uni. So just believe in yourself and give you all the chances uh, you possibly can have, and just go for it. You can do it. If I can, you can. Anyways, hope you're safe and healthy, and keep spreading love. Cheers.